Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Star Wars, what was previously known as Expanded Universe, now Legends figure, unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at Artisan Dark Empire Luke. This is basically an Elseworlds version of Luke Skywalker, if he was to take his father's place as Palpatine's apprentice. We'll get stuck into all of that throughout the course of the video, don't worry. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Star Wars content goes live. You know, when they announced this, Dark Empire Luke was not on my Hot Toys bingo card. I never thought they were going to make this. It's so random, it's so unique and out there that, I was super surprised when they did, but here he is, and color me excited. I can't wait to see what this figure is all about. As for the slipcover, kind of boring. You already got a sneak preview of what the box art looks like underneath it, so let's not beat around the bush. Up front, an image of the prototype figure, then a metallic foil Star Wars logo, and his name down below. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs. They're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. On the side of the box, pretty much nothing, just some logos. Then around the back, warnings, legal information, and their store locations. Oh, now that is some real artwork. It's colourful, it's shiny, it's metallic, it's got this satin finish to it. There's a Star Destroyer down below, a shot of Luke, another one right in the middle. The only complaint I have, and yes, there's a complaint, his eyes are not looking in the same direction. He kinda looks like he's got a bit of a lazy eye thing going on. It's not lens distortion, it's genuinely the picture on the box. I wish they would have dialed in that eye position properly, or just fixed it in post in Photoshop, I guess. It's not enough to ruin the entire box, because that shine is something else. It truly feels like a special box until you get around the back. They're being lazy with their box art recently, and Dark Empire Luke's box is no exception. This is the same image that we just saw on the slipcover. Yes, it's now orange and metallic, but I mean, they could have taken another picture, surely. Then down below, a little read-up. It's a bit random, it doesn't tell you much, but feel free to pause to read. Oh, and on the other side of the box, the rest of that Star Destroyer from the front cover, spilling over the edge, and another smaller Star Destroyer right next to it. The box opens up like a book to reveal the Artisan head sculpt package separately, of course, to protect the hairstyle, on the left. Then Luke's body and all of his accessories on the right, with a Star Wars logo up top. I've not seen any unboxings yet for the sculpted hair version, but I would imagine the box is closer to a standard release versus what we get with Artisan. With this being one of their first non-DX Artisans, instead of going with a foam block housing the figure's body inside the box, they've given us a classic clam tray. First in-hand impressions for headless Dark Empire Luke's body? Interesting. There's a lot of Darth Vader going on with the belt and the codpiece, the undersuit, the boots and whatnot, but the body is a lot lighter weight and a lot smaller versus a Hot Toys Darth Vader. It's kind of trippy, actually. We'll be attaching the head sculpt later on, but for right now, what we're going to do is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first. If you recognize it, you're not alone. It's reuse. We may as well get that out of the way right off the bat. they've been coming back to this base mold a lot recently, like more than I was expecting them to. A lot of characters have been coming with this base. Is that a bad thing? It depends on the character. For Dark Empire Luke Skywalker not the tallest guy in the world, so a raised platform base that works for him, and it's a circular centerpiece style base, so popping him in the middle of your shelf on this round platform, I think it's going to work perfectly fine. If you've got multiple of these on the same shelf, that's when we start to run into problems because everyone would be at the same height, there's no height differentiation, and the top platform has these little jagged teeth that stick out around the edge, so trying to slot other bases alongside it and next to it, they bump into each other, and there's a lot of wasted space, is what I'm trying to say. Unfortunately, they decided not to give us the light-up version. There is a light-up version of this base in rotation. Episode 6 Darth Vader comes with a USB-C powered version of this base, so all of these pill-shaped cutouts can light up. They've only ever used that once, and I'm struggling to understand why. Now, the way it's been painted, gunmetal first, slightly shiny, then there's some speckling over the top, whereas this top platform is textured, we've got raised little ridges. That is actually a decal, it's a sticker. There's texture, it looks good, and the print is high quality, no complaints from me. Around the front, Star Wars and Luke Skywalker on the nameplate. Thank goodness it doesn't say Legends or anything else weird. Then up top, a height adjustable, wide scoop crotch grabber. So the coin, worth the price of admission alone, right? No, of course not. It looks cool, says Luke and Dark Empire. There's this sculpted relief of Luke on the surface, Star Wars around the back. It is metal, properly heavy, but how do I display this? They haven't included a little stand even to have this propped up on the base. It's just, meant to sit there like that? Not very appealing, Hot Toys. And to make matters worse, depending on where you order your Luke, you're going to get a different color coin. Hong Kong is red, Sideshow is like gold or silver or something. I wish they'd just stick to one color, so if you were collecting these figures for the coins, which I don't believe anyone is doing, but say you are, then they would all match. I'm a bit of a lightsaber hilt nut. I want to try and find out where the Luke and Darth Vader lightsaber hilts are being reused from, because they're definitely reuse. They're not new sculpts. It wouldn't make sense for them to do that. Far too expensive to do new sculpt work when they've already made numerous Luke and Darth Vader lightsaber hilts over the years. We'll do the deep dive, but not spend too long on it, just in the interest of time. I don't want to be here all day, and likely neither do you. Sculpt and paint on Luke's hilt looks crispy as, and we've got the real metal triangular loop/ring at the bottom, the way it's supposed to be. First up, this is, I think, the stunt version of Luke's Episode 6 hilt. We got this with Deluxe Luke, not the same sculpt. Then this is the hero version. It looks the same to me, shape and size. The paint is a little bit darker on the new one. And we've got the triangular loop at the bottom versus the D-ring with the Episode 6 hilt. Lastly, this is the one that we got with R2-D2, and that one's got the triangular ring at the bottom, but the hilt is slightly longer and a little bit chonkier up top for the emitter. On the light-up version, just like what we get with Disney Park sabers and Hasbro sabers, it's got a thicker neck. They weren't able to maintain the thin neck with the light-up feature. The rest of the sculpt and paint is identical, but we've got a cable coming out the side of it, terminating in a clip that plugs into the junction box. It's worth noting, both the straight edge blade and the swooshing effect one are compatible with both sabers, even the thin-necked non-LED version. Your eyes do not deceive you. They fixed the saturation, at least for the green blade. This is what we were getting. Fairly green, slightly tinted transparent plastic, quite shiny. This is Dark Empire Luke's blade. Fully saturated. They've dialed it all the way up. Extremely punchy. And there's this matte finish over the top, which will help diffuse light for the LED saber. Did they fix the swooshing effect blade? Saturation, yes, just as vibrant as the straight edge one, but the shape of the effect is still not quite there. It's an equal fan all the way down, which works. It does, if you're posing him as though he's just swooshing his lightsaber back and forth like that. If you want to make it look like he's swinging it in a specific direction, this is what it should look like. Not an equal triangle, but more an angled one with a straight edge and a trailing edge behind it. They can still frost it, so the leading edge is more saturated versus the trailing one, but angle that peg at the bottom, then this effect would be pretty much perfect. Okay, so Darth Vader's lightsaber hilt, plenty of variations between the films. First up, is it the same as A New Hope? No. This one is skinnier. We've got the D-ring at the top still, no D-ring at the bottom, but the detail work is different all the way around. Next to Empire, the middle section is completely different. The bottom, once again, similar, but there's no lever on the side, and we've got the wires sticking out the top. Episode 6, shorter, bit stubbier, the emitter is different, so too is the middle section. But interestingly enough, it's almost exactly the same as Kenobi Darth Vader. His lightsaber hilt is near identical. I found the emitter to be a bit rounder, but the detail work at the bottom, on the side, the lever, those bits without the wires, I'm willing to bet that they combined a couple of sculpts to give us Dark Empire Luke's lightsaber hilt, which doesn't make a ton of sense. I would have preferred an episode 6 hilt for Dark Empire Luke because, timeline-wise, that fits better. And the light-up saber, exact same as the non-LED one, just with a cable sticking out. Did they fix the saturation for the red blades like they did for the green ones? No, they didn't. Still desaturated, and they're a lot smaller versus Darth Vader's normal lightsaber blades. They're thicker and chunkier and longer. These are the same sculpts as the Luke blades, just tinted red instead of green. To power the light-up sabers and the belt boxes, we get this little junction box thing. There's a clip on the back that will allow you to connect this to his belt, or you can swap it out for the C-clamp. Then you can connect this to the crotch grabber arm on the base instead. The belt is made of a kind of sus material. It looks a bit pleathery. Spoiler alert, we'll discuss that later. I would suggest attaching it to the base instead of the back of Luke. Then, lastly, a surprisingly great array of hands, and the detail is crazy on these. The ribbing and the stitching and the wraps, the way they've been highlighted with the brown dry brush. Plus, we've got pairs for almost all the gestures. These are fingers splayed out style pose hands, I guess. But then only one force push hand, with his wrist at an angle. I would have liked 2 of these. But then back to pairs. 2 relaxed open palm hands, 2 closed fists, and 2 gripping hands. These ones are my favourite of the bunch. Not because of this, but it is important. The fingers are soft enough, you can pry them open and pop the lightsaber hilts in there without having to grab a hairdryer. Right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's pretty well integrated. There's a split cut for the wrists. This is the first time I've seen them do this since A New Hope Vader 1.0, which had that terrible Velcro pleather system. This is not that. Sculpted plastic hands, sculpted plastic gauntlets. We can get so much more range out of the wrists because of this split cut. It's going to make dynamic posing with lightsabers way easier. And there's even some sculpted stitching at the base there, just in case that bit starts to reveal itself as you move the hands around. Would I like to see this for Darth Vader in the future? Absolutely. The ribbing on the back of his gloves, that is a perfect spot to hide the split cut. It's worth noting they've only done this for the gripping hands. The rest of them, they're all single-piece seamless sculpts. What we're going to do now is get Luke Skywalker himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. This is such a weird piece, man. when they first announced this, I was thinking, what are you doing, Hot Toys? Who is going to get this? And here I am, getting it. Now that I have it, it has so much presence. He's got presence to spare, in fact. He is dripping aura. He's badass in ways that I didn't think was even possible. Like, Luke Skywalker in the black Episode 6 outfit, he's cool, but he's never been Darth Vader cool. Until now. Grab some of the Darth Vader outfit elements that make him iconic, like the cape and the belt and the codpiece and the undersuit and the shin armor. Chuck them on Luke, give him artisan hair and moving eyes. This is what you end up with. Like I said, I wasn't sure at first. Now that he's standing in front of me, they've won me over. He might not be the best Luke that they've ever made, but he is damn impressive. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Luke Skywalker's head sculpt. In a jar. I've sort of gotten into the habit of doing this in my Artisan reviews just to show you what the head sculpts look like in their packaging. This is what will greet you when you open the box. I like how there's a nameplate up front and the mirror at the bottom, as though anyone is going to not install this head sculpt on the Artisan figure's body. Removing the sculpt from the plastic neck connector, they say to rotate it all the way, then the locking and keying mechanism will allow you to remove it. First impressions for this sculpt? So far, so good. I feel like the blogger pictures let this one down a little, but I'll pop it on the body, let my thoughts develop, let's do that. Et voila! What do I think of the head sculpt now it's installed? More importantly, what do you think of the head sculpt? Let me know down in the comments. Is this the best Mark Hamill likeness we've seen out of a Luke sculpt in 1/6 scale? It's good, great even, maybe, depending on the angle and the eye position and how you style the hair. But that's a lot of dependencies for a head sculpt. A perfect head sculpt should look its best at every angle, no matter the eye position, as long as it's not cross-eyed or anything goofy. I strongly believe the best 1/6 scale Luke sculpt to date is still the Mando head with the Return of the Jedi hairpiece on it. This comes in a close second, but depending on how you look at this, it really should be the best. It's the most up-to-date, and it's Artisan. We'll discuss the hair. Let's talk about the sculpt and paint first. Soft skin texture. We've got the moles and the freckles. Some dark red shading under his eyes, painted eyelashes, and a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow. The expression is neutral. There's no intensity to it. A furrowed brow would have been nice. It is Luke Skywalker after all. He should be a bit hopeful. But then again, he's wearing this Darth Vader getup, so a furrowed brow might have worked for this. You know what it looks like? The A New Hope sculpt, just with rooted hair and moving eyes. I never hated that sculpt, but it's far from perfect. Let's talk about the hair. It's well styled, at least mine is, out of the box, but I'm nervous about it. Because to access the moving eyes, you need to grab the hair. Technically, you're supposed to wedge your fingernail under the back of it, or the tool, that's what the instructions say. I don't recommend doing that because you could rip the hair clean out when you're messing around with the tool back there. Grab this hairpiece, slide it off the sculpt. That means every time you want to move these eyes, you are interacting with the hair. You will mess it up. So, potentially before you install the head sculpt on the body, dial in the eye position first, reinstall the hair, then connect everything up and leave it well alone. Technically speaking, there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of life in those eyes. We've got a couple of different colors for the irises, there's a high gloss finish on them, there's even some vein work around the edges. I just wish the likeness was stronger than it is. At least the hair tucks in around the collar, and because the collar is quite tight around the sculpt, it helps lock the hair in place so it doesn't get too crazy. Around the back, you can see all of the little strands of hair and the natural flow because this is real wool. It's actual hair, technically. There's a lot of product in it. It feels quite stable, but the more you mess with it, the heat from your fingers, the friction from moving the head sculpt round, it will start to get frizzy. Is anyone else seeing John Travolta with this sculpt? I'm getting a little bit of a Grease vibe from right there, that 3/4 turn. Maybe it's just me. Removing the hair, so difficult. Not recommended for you to do this over and over again, like I already said. There's a magnet up top, and then a rail system to lock the hair in place and make sure it's sitting properly on the head sculpt. To move the eyes around, it's a hollow head, so plenty of access around the back for you to fit your finger inside the head. You don't have to use a tool if you don't want to. Let's reinstall the hair and discuss what this head sculpt looks like with some side-eye. Now I know why they struggled to line Luke's eyes up for the shot on the front of the box. The range of motion for his separate rolling eyeballs is restricted because of the narrowness of the head sculpt. When you move the eyes around, they bump into the edges on the inside of the sculpt, and they don't look as far left and right as I was hoping. Still, with some side-eye, do I like this head sculpt more than before? Yes, I do, but only just. I don't think this head sculpt is a 10. If I had to rate it, I'd say 8 to 9, if I'm being generous. Look, I don't want to make it sound like this is a bad head sculpt. It's not a bad sculpt. It's just not the best Mark Hamill sculpt we've ever gotten from them. Would I pass on this piece based on the strength or weakness of the likeness with the head sculpt? No, because the overall premise, the idea of Luke turning to the dark side and wearing a bunch of Darth Vader stuff, is unique enough for this piece to still have a place in my collection, as is evidenced by the fact that I bought it. There's something else I want to try out with the hair and the head sculpt, then we can move on to the outfit. And that's hair swaps. Yes, you heard that correctly, hair swaps, not head swaps, because there's a stupid clear plastic neck connector that sits on top of the ball joint for the actual neck connector that I'm too scared to remove to do a real head swap, because clear plastic is notoriously fragile if I take some pliers to it to then install the Mando head sculpt or the Episode 6 head sculpt on this body. Chances are I'm going to ruin the clear plastic clip, and like I said, I'm not brave enough to try that. But the Mando hair on the Dark Empire Luke head sculpt isn't bad. The collar helps, the side-eye helps, but I'm seeing a bit of Sebastian Stan coming through with this combo. Okay, now we're cooking. This is the Hoth Snowspeeder Luke hair, and the way it flares out at the sides like that, it reminds me of that cover art from Dark Empire. Yes, I bought this because of the Artisan hair. Now that I'm seeing this, maybe I should leave him like this? What do you think? Maybe. Just because you can doesn't always mean you should. The forehead looks massive with this hairpiece on. It is properly connected. The magnet is the correct polarity for this to snap on there, and the rails are there. It's all fully installed. It's just that the new head sculpt has a taller forehead, so this doesn't really work for me. Same thing with the standard Episode 6 hair. Sits too high on the sculpt, reveals too much of his forehead, makes his head look too tall. So if I was to go sculpted hair with this Dark Empire head, I'd be using the Empire Strikes Back Snowspeeder Luke hair, because that's the best option that I've found. Back to stock now, Artisan hair, looking straightforward. Just for a quick comparison, this is my favourite 1/6 scale Luke sculpt, the Mando one with the Return of the Jedi hairpiece, and now you can see what it looks like next to the Artisan sculpt. You can make up your own mind on which Luke sculpt you prefer. Let's discuss the outfit. His cape, the outer collar is wired, so you can bend it, flare it out, or have it sticking straight up and down. I like a little bit of flare to it, but not too much, because when it sits close to the head sculpt, it pins the hair in and keeps it in place. And the material choice for the cape or cloak, it's so lightweight. It's a perfect material for this. It's not wired, just a drape cape, but It hangs there, it's very easy to work with. You can even sit it over his shoulders if you want. It's removable, sort of. If you take it off, then there'll be some ugly press studs visible on his undershirt, so while you can do it, it's not really designed to be removed for display, if that makes sense. The only reason it can come off is because they had to assemble it somehow, and they went with press studs. The plastic chain up front is permanently attached to the cape, so if you were to remove it, the chain would come along with it. They've done a decent job of bulking him out to make him look imposing rather than stupid. This could have come across as though it's Luke cosplaying as Darth Vader. I don't see it like that. It's pretty badass, actually. The 3/4 length sleeves, they're a lightweight fabric. They flare out, so that gives him some width. And he's got some padding underneath this black shirt for his torso, but it ends around the waist, so I don't think that's going to get in the way of range of motion for articulation. We will find out for sure a little bit later. Does he have the flap up front you can peel back like Return of the Jedi? It's there, but it's stitched in and there's no white underneath it. It's not designed for that to be an option, so I would just leave it. Now, the pleated tunic, unlike the cape, it's wired. They don't normally do this, not even for Darth Vader, but they've done it for Luke. Wires down the front and wires along the bottom, so you can shape it and pin it in place, getting it to hang naturally. These have always been fiddly and annoying to work with for 1/6 scale Darth Vaders because there's no weight to this thin fabric and there's not too much of it, unlike the cape, so gravity doesn't do the trick and pin it down. You really do need wires to simulate that. The undersuit, it's made of nylon. Thank goodness it's made of nylon. Great material for this. It looks the part. It's got a sheen to it. It's wrinkly. It wrinkles like a Darth Vader suit should. And we've got all the stitching. But it's not an undersuit. It's a faux undersuit. That is bare body underneath these outer sleeves. The reason they've done that is so that there's nothing impeding range of motion for the shoulders. We can get max range out of Luke's arms, and for a lightsaber wielding character, that is so important. The pants, they are proper full pants, and they're also made of that durable nylon. But we need to discuss the pleather elephant in the room. There is pleather here. They've done their best to include just a little. You know, why not have some perishable materials on a figure that people are spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on the aftermarket? Makes sense, yeah? No, it doesn't? Yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why are you still using shitty material like pleather Hot Toys? The belt, the strap connecting this sculpted plastic codpiece to the body, and the boots, all pleather. There's no reason for it. The boots could have been a split cut design, just hide the split underneath this armor at the front. Then the strap, that could have been sculpted even. Same thing with the base for the belt. At least the belt boxes and the belt buckle, they're detachable, so if the belt goes on you, you could probably try and fashion a replacement. There's no detail work on it. It's a flat strap, so grab a piece of genuine leather, use the stock belt as a template, cut one out, then attach these pieces over the top. There is a metal hook around the back that you can attach his episode 6 lightsaber hilt to. Trying to do it on camera is a little fiddly, especially with that cable in the way. There you go. It's more around the back. You don't see it from most angles. It's blocked by everything else. I wouldn't really bother with that. Can you attach the Darth Vader lightsaber hilt to it? Even more difficult to do on camera because of the nature of that hook at the top, but getting it hooked on there, yes, you can totally do it. Coming down to the legs, nylon undersuit, it feels so good. Soft and durable, this is what I'm talking about. Then the complete opposite for the boots. The leather grain texture is fine, like it's properly fine, it's really small, so it's in scale with 1/6. Then we've got these boot guards that velcro to the front of the boots. I would suggest putting them up a hair higher just so that the spikes at the front aren't making contact with the shoes, because they will dig into that pleather and absolutely destroy it. On the underside, any sculpted tread, nope, just completely smooth. two more things for us to try out, then we can move on. The light-up belt boxes and the light-up lightsaber. I've got the junction box connected around the back currently, but I would suggest, as I said in the accessory segment, connecting it to his stand instead. Flicking the switch. It's a simple light-up. The red and green faux buttons or little switches on the front of his belt boxes, but they add a pop of color to an otherwise very dark looking outfit. I will find a way to have this guy lit up in the collection permanently. Okay, here we go. Lightsaber is connected. Flicking the switch. You ready for it? 1, 2. It's okay. Their lightsabers are getting better. They're still brightest at the bottom. Then there's a bright spot at the top. The vibrancy of the blade helps make it look better than some of the older ones. It's still not a perfect solution. Let's turn the studio lights off, then we can compare it to the Fusion Reactor's saber. Yeah, okay, in low light, I can see it. It's still brightest at the bottom, whereas with a Fusion Reactor's saber, the entire thing is glowing like a real freaking lightsaber. It's so bright that it casts a green glow on Luke Skywalker himself. I've popped a link to Fusion Reactors in the description if you'd like to pick up one of their sabers for yourself. Almost forgot, here's the red blade Darth Vader lightsaber. It looks worse than the green one. There's 2 open spots on the junction box, so you can have both lightsabers plugged in at the same time if you want. That's a benefit with the Hot Toys sabers, but when they look like this, even in low light, not worth it. For a quick side-by-side comparison, there's not really a comparison to be made here, is there? One's Legends used to be expanded universe from the comics on the left, and the other is from Mandalorian Season 2, from arguably one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars television. And he's from a canon live-action appearance. It's Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. I wouldn't be picking between them. I'd be going with Mando Luke, but if you already have him, and you're craving another Luke Skywalker, but one that not everyone is going to have in their collections, something Artisan, then you pick up Dark Empire Luke. I doubt he's going to be anyone's main Luke. You can do it, but I just don't see that happening. More than likely, he's going to be a second or third Luke for the collection. That's where he starts to make sense. It's not their best 1/6 scale Darth Vader, but then again, this is not their best Luke either. This is the A New Hope 1.0 Vader. I just happen to have him out of the cabinet, so here he is next to Luke. Seeing these two together, now it's starting to make sense. This has the makings of an epic shelf. Lord Starkiller, Darth Revan, Dark Empire Luke, Darth Vader, all of the Sith standing together on the same shelf. I cannot wait to do that in my own collection. But Vader next to Luke, seeing the similarities with the codpiece and the belt buckle, the boots, the inner tunic with the cape over the top, I love the way these two look next to each other. Going over articulation, starting off with Luke's head sculpt. I don't know what to expect with this because it's a Darth Vader suit on a Luke Skywalker body. I've not seen that before. Let's just dive in. Ball joint at the base of the single piece sculpt for the neck. There's a clear plastic clip mechanism on top of that, but it's mostly just the ball joint that's giving us range. Looking forward to there, unhindered by the inner collar. Looking up to there, once again, relatively unhindered. Swivel, and some pivot side to side. As you already know, the Darth Vader sleeves end below the shoulder joint, so there's nothing to restrict range. Going forward, completely unhindered all the way up, no problem. Going up to there, the outer shirt sleeve does restrict it a bit as it gets tight over the shoulder. Then a butterfly joint that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going past 90, then for the wrist pegs, hinges and swivels that are accessible with the split cut gripping hands on, but if you've got any of the single piece sculpted hands on, you won't have any range at the wrists. Midsection joint and waist joint, crunching forward to there, going back to there, it gets gappy, but you can bring the belt down to adjust for it. swivel, and some pivot side to side. Legs are a question mark because of the thick nylon suit. Let's see what they can do. Going forward to there before they spring back down a touch. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee, going past 90, but not by much. Single piece pleather boots, double ball peg inside of them for the ankles. Be mindful of the spikes at the bottom of these armor pieces because depending on how you angle the foot, the sculpted plastic armor can dig into the pleather for the shoes. Going forward and back, rotation, as well as some ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is, come on Hot Toys, a single piece head sculpt. No split under the chin to remove the head to move the eyes around. Instead, you have to grab onto the Artisan wig and remove it to get to the moving eyes? Absolutely not. Terrible idea, and I never want to see this going forward for Artisan pieces. I should not have to interact with the hair just to move the eyes around because I will mess it up. Guaranteed. The second annoying thing is they went to all of this effort to redo their Darth Vader bodysuits in nylon and then custom make one specific to Luke Skywalker for this piece, just to cheap out on the belt, the strap underneath the codpiece, and the boots. Most egregiously the boots. There's still pleather outfit elements on Dark Empire Luke. I've never understood pleather boots for Darth Vader specifically because this front armor piece would completely disguise the split cut if you were to go sculpted plastic. Welcome to Luke's wig shop. The third annoying thing, and I'm so pissed they did this. It's an intentional choice, I swear. They went out of their way to make sure the new Artisan hairpiece was not backwards compatible with any of the Luke head sculpts that don't have moving eyes. All they would have had to do to make sure this would work with these sculpts is include the notch on the inside around the back that this piece of plastic would have slid into. Then we could have used this with any of our Luke sculpts. Trying to pop it on the Return of the Jedi one, it sits at a weird angle and no, it just doesn't work. You'd have to do some modifications to make that happen. At least all of the sculpted plastic hair pieces from the Return of the Jedi and Empire sculpts are forwards compatible. So if for whatever reason you wanted to use these with the Artisan Luke, you could do that. I know, I was just complaining about compatibility, but ironically the first cool thing is the new Artisan hairpiece is backwards compatible with the Mando Luke sculpt. So you could maybe upgrade this head sculpt with this hair. I don't see it as an upgrade because there's too much hair, it's way too voluminous. I prefer the sculpted plastic hair this head sculpt comes with, but if you like it, it's an option. The second cool thing is what they did with the nylon Darth Vader undersuit sleeves, how they end below the shoulder joint and the bicep swivel. That means there's no excess fabric getting in the way of range, and it's not bunching up underneath his armpits, pushing his arms out. Now they can go completely flush down by his sides, unhindered. The third cool thing, believe it or not, they don't even do this with all of their Darth Vaders. They've done it once previously, as far as I can recall, with the A New Hope Darth Vader from the Tarkin 2 pack, but never again after that. The inner tunic is wired along the front edge and the bottom, so you can shape it, you can get dynamic with it, or just bring it down the front and have it draping naturally. This needs to be a staple for future Hot Toys Darth Vader figures. Wrapping up on the weirdest, the most out there 1/6 scale Luke Skywalker that they've ever given us. We've got Mando Luke, we've got Snowspeeder Luke, Bespin Luke, Episode 6 Luke, even A New Hope. But diving into the comics, into Legends to give us Dark Empire Luke? Raise your hand if you thought this was going to happen. No one? Yeah. Same. I didn't think this would be a thing like I said earlier. Now that it is a thing, it just makes sense. They've married the best outfit elements of Darth Vader with a kick-ass Luke Skywalker, and while the head sculpt isn't a 10, it's not worse than the prototype. I'd say this is in fact a little bit better than the prototype. Your mileage may vary depending on eye position and how your Artisan hair is styled, but if you go sculpted, You don't even have to stress about that. Is Artisan even necessary with Dark Empire Luke? No. It's a luxury feature if you cannot swing it, but you still want this Luke, get the sculpted hair version. If you can, and you want that ultimate realism with real hair that you can style yourself, then Artisan is the answer for you. It is a personal choice, only you know if you want to go Artisan or sculpted hair. Now, if you're looking at this, Luke, thinking to yourself, what the hell is this? What have I just watched Justin go on and on about for, 30 minutes now? Then it's not a piece that is likely going to make its way into your collection. If you're watching this thinking, oh, that is badass, Darth Vader Luke, why would I not want it? Grab this, I doubt you're going to regret it. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.